Canada, the land of maple syrup, Tim Hortons and poutine. A country whose very identity rests in being non-American. Donald Trump wants that to change. Even before stepping foot back into the White House, he's repeatedly taunted the northern neighbour with talk of absorbing it into the 51st US state.
Many Canadians want Canada to become the 51st state. They would save massively on taxes and military protection. I think it's a great idea. 51st state.
Okay, there we go.
But Trump's fight with Canada is first and foremost economic. Shortly after his election victory, Trump threatened a 25% tariff on all goods coming in from its neighbour, unless Canada took steps to tighten security on the border it shares with the US. It's not clear whether Trump's menacing is just mere trolling or a negotiating tactic, but it seems to be working. The Canadian government has already promised to boost border spending by $1 billion. Like Canada, Mexico is also facing a 25% tariff threat from the Trump administration. And that's not all. He also says he plans to rename the Gulf of Mexico the Gulf of America.
Changing the name of the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America, which has a beautiful ring that covers a lot of territory. The Gulf of America, what a beautiful name.
Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum has ridiculed Trump's remarks, suggesting that instead US territory that was once part of Mexico should be called Mexican America. Trump's calls to annex or purchase Greenland and the Panama Canal have also drawn similarly fiery responses. The 47th US president has refused to rule out using force to obtain Greenland, ruffling NATO's feathers. Danish Prime Minister Mette Frederiksen says it's not for sale.
I want to make it very clear that in the eyes of the Danish government, Greenland is for the Greenlandic people.
Because we're being ripped off at the Panama Canal like we're being ripped off everywhere else.
Panama, for its part, insists that sovereignty of its canal, which Trump has described as a crucial asset for the United States, is not negotiable. At the heart of Trump's expansionist aims, north and south, is keeping China out. Beijing is increasingly eyeing up ways to tap into Greenland's rich mineral resources. The 47th president falsely alleged that China is running the Panama Canal, but Chinese companies do operate ports at both ends of the waterway. Talking tough on China has been a hallmark of Donald Trump's political career. During campaigning, he pledged to once again keep up a hardline stance on Beijing.
And I'm doing the same thing with China. We're going to tariff the hell out of them.
Since winning the election in November, Trump has rolled back on his plans for tariffs on China, now pledging to impose 10%, presumably on top of existing tariffs. Meanwhile, the future of Taiwan continues to hang in the balance. Trump's cabinet picks full of China hawks could push for military action in the region, which China sees as a breakaway province. Another key priority for Trump is Iran. He's set to maintain his first administration's policy of maximum pressure. The goal, forcing Tehran to limit its nuclear and ballistic missile programs. Trump failed to achieve this when he was last in power, but today's geopolitical landscape is very different. It's not clear how much of Trump's plans will see the light of day, but what's certain is his foreign policy is set to keep both allies and enemies guessing.